Steve and Alan's Pro Tips in a short time. Learn a lot.
Hey, Alan.
Hey, Steve.
Today's quick pro tip comes as a listener suggestion asking us to talk about program notes.
Program notes. That's one thing I didn't expect to miss when I left full-time teaching, but I kind of do. I always like researching and writing about the pieces we are working on, and I live to read them at symphony concerts now.
Yeah, and that was our listener's first point. Even if nobody ever reads them, the process of writing them is good for us as teachers.
Yeah, for sure. The research for program notes yielded at least a few good things that made me better, especially when it came to conveying some stylistic or programmatic concepts to students.
Exactly. Sometimes we think that program notes are for the audience to read, and they certainly fulfill that function, but it's easy to forget that program notes help the students, either directly or indirectly, when they make us better teachers. And for this same reason, I suggest approaching the opportunity to teach music history or music appreciation with an open mind. When I started teaching college, I was able to teach the history of 1960s music, jazz music, the Harlem Renaissance, protest music, and all of it ended up making me a much better teacher in ensembles and lessons.
Yeah, and I also think that the process of preparing program notes and sharing them in class, that helps the students understand why we program the music that we program. So it's good to talk about our why. And it's also to help with the overall arc of the program. Other times it's because of a theme we're trying to convey, or maybe it's just historically significant.
And remember, if we want our subject to be viewed with the same respect as English or social studies classes, we must treat our curriculum selection with the same thought and care. It's not like the English teacher, hopefully, tonight is thinking, yeah, so I guess I need to assign a new novel tomorrow. Let's see what's on the Amazon bestseller list and pick one with a cool title. I think researching music in advance shows professional preparation and care.
Okay, so your tip is basically remember to research and write program notes.
Yeah, that is the main takeaway. And don't put it off until the day before the programs need to be printed, because the process of researching them will make you a better teacher in the months leading up to the concert.
Okay, so you got any tips about the notes themselves? You're pretty good at this. I've seen your programs.
Yeah, just a few. First, don't simply copy the notes from inside of the score. Find some way to personalize or customize it for your situation, at least a little bit. Sometimes those notes are also written with the understanding that a teacher with a music degree will be the person reading it, and they'll use terms or concepts the general public might not understand.
Yeah, and do the parents really need to hear about making sure that the dotted eighths and 16th rhythms should have a little separation?
Right. So remember your audience and try to write the notes in a way that mom, dad, grandma, and grandpa will understand and appreciate. Also, if a student has a solo or an important part, use their name. For example, listen to the flute solo by Alan in the middle, or the woodblock pattern played by Steve functions as the engine of the band at the beginning.
Throw this in the list of stuff I wish I'd have heard when I was teaching. That's cool. What else?
Well, I could go either way on giving verbal program notes during the concert itself. Some teachers like doing this and are good at it. Others, understandably, hate public speaking, and I don't blame them for just wanting to let the written program notes do the talking for them, so to speak. But if you are going to speak about the piece, I have 2 bits of advice.
I'm going to predict one. Do not read the written program notes out loud.
Yeah, good guess. No one wants that. So if you want to speak to the audience about a piece, make sure you are giving some different information, or at least presenting it in a different way. And that leads me to the second piece of advice for verbal program notes. Write them out in advance. Even the greatest public speakers of the last century plan out their remarks in advance. Yes, I know that you know the piece really well and could probably wing it. But in the heat of the moment, we almost never do this as well as we hope. We ramble, we say or a bunch, and we don't end up presenting a polished product to match the polished product the students are presenting.
Yeah, and as a professional public speaker in part of my realm, that is what professional public speakers do. So it's not amateurish to write it out. It's professional. Something else that would have made this even easier when we were teaching high school is our new friend, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
That can help refine the text to avoid jargon, if you tell it to, and make it audience friendly. It can also take that material and spit out 2 versions, one for print and a short one for reading to the audience. Now, remember, it won't be perfect. I'm not a believer in ChatGPT for the final draft. So it'll require a little bit of work, but it can take care of a lot of the heavy lifting for you.
Great point. Yes. So, program notes. Do them. People like having something to read when the group isn't performing. It makes you a better teacher throughout both the literature selection and rehearsal process, and the students learn more. Don't use jargon the general public won't understand. And if you are going to speak to the audience, don't simply read the concert program notes out loud. Revise them to provide some different information or a different presentation. And please write out those audience remarks in advance.
Yes, do. These are great reminders for the rest of this year. Thank you very much, Steve.
My pleasure.
Steve and Alan's pro tips in a short time. Learn a lot.